People have asked me, when did you decide to become a judge? Well, I had to give some thought to that. And what I realized was, when I was 25 years old, somebody said to me, if you ever want to be a judge, make sure you register Republican. Do you know that 97% of all lawyers in Delaware County are registered that way? They're all judge wannabes someday. Well, in 1975, I was also supporting one of the greatest judges this county ever had, the Honorable Edward S. Lawhorn. But the fact of the matter is that Ed Lawhorn was my hero, and he had a campaign slogan, and I'm going to use that campaign slogan. It's judge for yourself. That's all Ed Lawhorn ever asked of anyone, and that's all that I'm going to ask. You'll come to my website, frankdalyforjudge.com, and you're going to look at my qualifications. Many of you may know of me because of my part-time jobs, my civic, community-minded jobs. But you know, I'm not running in a partisan race. I'm running because I have the qualifications to be a judge. And I told you that you know me by my part-time jobs. I was mayor of Media for 10 years. I'm president of the town council now. I was solicitor. I was this. I was that. But let me tell you how I earned a living. For 33 years, I practiced law in media. And I have never kowtowed to the powers that be. And anybody and everybody in Delaware County knew that if they wanted an honest broker, a lawyer who was going to stand up for them, a guy who wasn't going to get a phone call in the back room and be told to sell his client out, they could come to Frank Daly. And for 33 years, I've been practicing in this county. I have represented anybody who's come in my door, and one of the people that came in my door was a lady who was a widow who had lost her son. She kind of reminded me of somebody. Gee, who could that have been? A widow who had lost her son. I think that reminded me of my mom. And who was this lady? Her name was Julie Amber Messick. And how did she lose her son, Chris Kangas? He was 14 years old and a full member of the Brookhaven Fire Department. And he responded to a call on his bicycle, and tragically, he was killed. And he was buried with full honors. The governor of Pennsylvania came. He received every citation that there could be. Hundreds of people came to that funeral. And the borough of Brookhaven recognized him as a firefighter. And the state of Pennsylvania recognized him as a firefighter. And the federal government, on a letter dated September the 11th, 2002, told Julie that her son was not a firefighter. Julie didn't appeal that decision. She let it go. There was money involved. She didn't care about the money. But 4 months later, when she found out that her son's name would not appear on the National Fallen Firefighters Monument in Emmitsburg, Maryland, because the federal government had not recognized him as a firefighter, Julie was ready to fight. And she hired me, and we fought that fight, and we overturned the Department of Justice, and the Court of Federal Claims has recognized him as a firefighter. There is no Republican or Democratic way to pave a street. I learned that in local government, but I also learned that there's a right way to pave a street, and there is no Democratic or Republican justice. There is only justice. Thank you very much.